Hello, welcome to the Ramswriter podcast. I'm your host, Simon. It's going to be a mad show today. Why? Because I've got two insane guests. We went big. I've got Ryan Conway, award-winning journalist, Ryan Conway from The Athletic. Ryan?
Yeah, don't forget it. Don't forget it, listeners. Award-winning now. Just play which it's always great to be on the show, man. Always a pleasure, and always like that you think highly enough of me to get me back on the show, man. So it's my pleasure.
Popular demand, mate. Popular demand. I think that's what it is. And also, I've got another big guest. You may have seen him on Twitter, Instagram. He's posing with his dog. He's Andre Wisdom's brother. It's Dashelle. Dashelle, good evening. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. A bit late today, but we're on here still, so thanks for having me.
A bit late. Me and Ryan have been waiting about 45 minutes.
In fact, you know what? It's even longer. We've been waiting like a month because we were meant to hook this up ages ago, bro.
That's how it works out sometimes, but we turn up, so we're...
Yeah. In fairness, you did have an excuse. Obviously, when we did first try and get it together, it was shortly before the incident with Andre and the stabbing. I mean, is he all right and everything now? And I bet that was horrible, weren't it?
It's fine. It's just, see, with that, it's a weird thing because it's like within my life or within our lives, it's happened to many other people. So it's like, not that it's not a major thing what happened, but we was sort of used to it happening. So that it happened to us, sort of thing. But I know different people it's happened to several times. So it was like an experience where I already had prior knowledge of what to do in that situation. So it was just things that it just happened, unfortunately. But he's fine. He's playing.
Yeah,
he's gonna have a good season, hopefully.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, it's great to see him back. I mean, I remember listening to the interview with Owen Bradley that he did sort of afterwards, and it didn't faze him. Is he just that sort of guy that nothing really bothers him?
Yeah, literally, even when he got out of the hospital, he went shopping and literally had about 6 shopping bags after, and just walked inside and just had some food.
You posted the video, I think the day after he got out of hospital, you posted the video of him wandering around the kitchen, fine and that.
But I posted it blurry on purpose. People thought I didn't do that on purpose, but I did that on purpose.
I think, in fairness, when you did post that to all Derby fans, it was. I think it was just like sort of relief, like, yeah, nothing can touch Andre. The guy's a machine. You know what I mean? So it really was, amazing to see him sort of like walking around like 2 days after it happened.
Yeah, literally. And then he was just like, "Oh, I'm just going to go to the hotel and see what the lads are saying."
Hey, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean,
day got home.
Incredible. I mean, is that all over and done now? Did they catch the people or anything like that, or is it sort of like is he? To
be honest, we didn't even. That's what I mean. Like, the main thing I said to him was, we just don't waste time on it. You know what I mean? Get right, get back to playing, and it happened. You know what I mean? It's not a memory, but it's a memory. It's in the past. And there's no point investing time and thinking, did this happen? Did that happen? I was gonna swear them, but I won't. But just sort of forget about it.
Yeah.
The F word I was gonna say. And then
you can say it. It's fine. That's mad. It was unreal, to be honest. The events happened. Now he's back on the pitch, and I suppose now he's sort of playing a bit more regularly now as a centre back. Now we've always seen him at Derby as a right back. Ryan, I mean, have you seen where have you normally seen him, right back or centre back?
Yeah, I think when Andre first got himself back fit and got into the team, I think immediately you saw that he was a better defensive option than Jayden Bogle at right back. Much more astute in his assignments. I thought didn't attack with the same flamboyance that Jayden did, but I thought he was effective in going forward there. You kick him inside at centre back, and I thought he was brilliant. He was a revelation there at the back half of the season when he was playing inside. and you can play him in a 3, you can play him in a 2. And as a centre back, particularly if you want to play a high line like Philip did, you want your centre halves to be quick. And I think for a centre back, Andre, along with Matt as well, they were quite quick, so could cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean, Dash, I think you said that he's not a right back, didn't you?
It's tradition. Well, it's a hard one because he's always played right back. So for him to say he's not a right back, I'd be lying. But I'd personally play him centre back. Up to me, that's where I'd play him. But then I understand in certain games why he plays right back.
Yeah. Because didn't he start off off in midfield when he first started playing? I swear he was on a podcast. I think it was your cousin went it that did it, and he said he started off as like a midfielder.
Yeah, but it was like my brother was that big and that powerful that they just sort of put him on the pitch at that time.
Well, we've seen that now. I think was it against Charlton it was either Charlton or Barnsley, where he absolutely bounced Alex Mowat off and then put a ball in for Waghorn to slot in. Yeah,
literally. I've seen him play. He's played centre back, right back, left back, defensive midfield, right wing,
striker.
No, yeah, played up front.
Yeah, he did. Cocky put him on up front, didn't he? Earlier on this season.
30 seconds. Yeah, he's played for the Husky. And yeah, but like at 15, he played against Arsenal with like Wilshire's era, and they won the Youth Cup, but he played DM, and his whole game was on marking Jack Wilshere in the Youth Cup final. That's on YouTube, I think.
I might have to look for that.
Yeah, doing that and literally doing his GCSEs at 15.
Jeez.
And they were all 17, 18 at that time.
That's mad. That is mad.
And then Wilshere went into the Arsenal first team the year after that.
I think with Andre, you forget the level of player that Andre has played with. He's still as a player he's in the peak of his powers right now, sort of age wise. But you look at it and you go, he's shared a pitch with Wayne Rooney, he's shared a pitch with Fernando Torres, Steven Gerrard, Raheem Sterling. I think he was still there when Luis Suarez was there. He's shared the pitch, man.
Alonso, Babel.
Yeah. He's been around some world class players and in some world class environments as well. Obviously, part of the Liverpool team that was wanting to win things. At that time, they weren't where they are now, but that was always the aspiration. And when you're in that environment, you become accustomed to a certain type of mentality.
Yeah, definitely. The main mentality he's probably got is never wants to lose. Like you could literally lose the closest, tightest game ever. Like literally lose it by a kick of the game. You try throwing him after this one, will be off.
Does he not talk to you then?
Like he don't talk to anyone for like a day. It's bad loss, it might be 2 off. Like WhatsApp, everything's just off. He literally just brews.
Oh my god!
So that's why, like, even when I see comments, people are not trying or people are not doing this, I'm like, mate, you don't even know. Like, with them and that coach going, oh man, how much they're brewing. Like, some of them don't even talk to the birds on that.
Really? Jeez. Well,
he has had literally you think you're fuming at like they're fuming, mate. And it's at themselves, so imagine just fuming at yourself.
Yeah.
All, you know what I mean?
What was obviously in 2013-14, he came. That was when he first joined on loan. What was it like? Did you go to the playoff final against QPR?
Yeah, I went to I think there was 50-something games. I missed about 3 games that whole season.
Loyal fan.
Away and at both legs. I missed about 3 games.
What was the sort of mood after? You just said there he didn't talk to you for a day after he loses. What about after the playoff final?
They were mad because it was like Wembley just got built then, I think, and it was like there's a big conference room in there when you go in, and I didn't know the playoff final was I knew it was a big thing, but I didn't know where I got my tickets and that was going to be a big thing. So like, I've just turned up, not like underdressed, but underdressed.
That's turning like that.
You know what I mean? So I've gone in there and everyone's in suits. Told me about a suit. You know what I mean? So there's me and like Andre's two best friends. We're all there. We look good, but we're not in suits or else. So we're looking around like bloody hell. And then we've seen the QPR chairman, and literally after we've lost, their whole staff are just pouring champagne on him in the back. And we've literally just looked over, and then we're like, should we just do something to him? Not that we're going to do something to him, but we're like, what? You know what I mean? We're like, oh, don't be doing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then we had like some banter with him and that, and it was just a loss.
Yeah.
And like, we went to the stadium and that, and like, there was like just a big celebration party, but there was no celebration, you know what I mean? And then it was like, just obviously, because we thought we were going to win, you know what I mean? So they set it all up and that, as if you're going to win. So the party's already there.
Yeah.
And then we just went home. Them nights.
That would have been weird, because obviously that was obviously at the time his last game for us.
Yeah.
So he sort of leaves like that, and then obviously went to Salzburg, didn't he?
Yeah, the season after, yeah.
And then he won the title, didn't he, in Salzburg?
And I cooked there, yeah.
What was that like? What was that like playing in Austria? Did he enjoy that, or?
Yeah, it was just different, but it was like, at that time he was one of the first people to do it. I think they were like Micah, who went to Fiorentina, Richards at the time, and then I think Andre did it.
Yeah.
And then we did well, to be honest. Literally, it was like when he was going on loan from Liverpool, there was a few options.
Yeah.
Even like that, could have probably come back to Derby, but it was one of those things where at that time he wanted to play centre back a bit as well.
Yeah.
Oh, as he knew, like he was a right back at the time because that's where he's been playing. But he thought I'd go there, I'll get a few games in that centre back and play right back when needed as well. And then effectively he did that. He played, I think, about 20-something games. But even within that, the games that he played, 20 whatever games he played, there was a settling in period anyway. So when he went, even though he was there and he was fit, they didn't play him because he had to get to grips with driving on the other side of the road, having a house. Obviously, he's driving antics anyway.
Well, we know what his driving's like, yeah.
But I mean,
Oi!
this is what I mean. So there's a lot of that come with it, you know what I mean? It's not about just kicking the ball, man.
As he worked out to the sat nav, yeah. I couldn't not miss that out.
Dash, yeah. Please tell me the story of the first conversation you had after his Porsche is in the mud.
It wasn't even like, this is what's happened here. I'm in Amsterdam, imagine, and I'm just like waking up or something, and then he's rung me. No, he's texted me, and he's like, "Oh, there's mud in my car." And I'm like, "There's mud in my car." So I'm just looking at my phone thinking, there's mud in my car. Like, is it a code meaning? Like, I'm like, what does it mean? And then I'm like, what do you mean? And then it's like, Dash, there's mud in my car. So I'm like, eh? So he's FaceTiming me and literally he's in the car and there's literally mud in his car. Literally, there's mud in his car and he's sat in the car and he's like, look, I'm in like a swamp or something. He's got off the FaceTime and that, and then I've literally seen all about it. I just read about loads of people just sending me the article and that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can I ask that just on that, because as a member of the media, obviously my job is to report on players, but I think what gets lost or what can get lost is they're people as well. They've got real families, they've got real problems, they've got everyday struggles. As the brother of a football player who might be in the public eye or their team might be in the public eye, how do you deal with it when you see stuff rolling out about this and that, this is going on with the club, so and so saying this about Andre, and that's my brother? How do you deal with it?
I don't really care.
Good.
No, I'm not in a
Ended that
bad way.
right there, didn't it?
It's just like whoever's reporting it, they're not in my day-to-day life. So if I don't put them into my day-to-day life, then how can I care about it?
No, that makes sense. So
that hurts my feelings, you know, that I'm not in your day-to-day life.
In a bad way, but like if I don't look at your stuff, then how am I gonna know?
Yeah, I get what you mean, bro.
I'm the sort of guy where even if you're speaking about it and you personally even like on Twitter and stuff, DMs and that, I get so many that I don't even read so many. Like if you've ever DM'd me, your conversation's probably left where I've not responded or something. Even though we're like good people or we speak all the time, I've just probably left the conversation because I get that many. But it's like if you've known me on a personal level, and like even when if you literally WhatsApp to me some rubbish, it would not mess up our relationship, but I just think, you're focused on some negativity when you could be speaking to me so many different things. Why have you messaged me that? So I've just put you with as well. So you've gone with that because that's what you've messaged me, and I won't see it again, and I won't see you again, unfortunately.
Don't piss off Dashelle. I wrote that down.
Just like I just don't factor like that into my life. You could be like one of my cousins and you only message me like about bad stuff. I don't want to speak to you on
because there's enough negativity in the world already, innit?
So many different stuff in life what you could be speaking about.
That's amazing. So basically, you don't want any negativity. You just want positivity in your life, and that's it.
Yeah, negative things happen, but it's just how you deal with it at the time. It's an incident. I don't want to be every day I wake up, someone just messages me, they've said this about you, or he's played rubbish. Or I say when he plays rubbish. More time. People message me like he played well, and I'll be like, no, he didn't. Like I watched the same 90 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, because he's not on social media, is he?
No.
Is that
he's
just
a bit too? I had him on it for a bit, and then he steered off it.
Are you trying to tell us is a bit of a technophobe, or he's not the best with technology?
No, he's all right with social media. He just doesn't does not care for it.
Yeah.
In a
that's probably not the worst thing to be like, actually.
Yeah, he does not care about it. He's just got Snapchat, and that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about mentality. Now, I'm going to bring up the takeover. As someone that's obviously close to the club, obviously with your brothers to play for it, do you think that, obviously I know the club have come out today and made a statement saying the takeover's still on because all those fans have been waiting 6 weeks and we've heard nothing. Do you think that waiting period and everything has been affecting the players' mentality on the pitch, or obviously with the poor start as well?
Not really, because even if you get taken over now, what's that going to really do? You can't really do anything. You've been taken over, but to the players, you can't really buy anyone. It's not January. Like, what's it going to do?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Because obviously,
just a different name on the tin.
Yeah.
But you can't worry about something what's not there.
Yeah.
In January, you can worry.
But
now it's like December. Like, what are you worrying about?
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's
what I'd think, but I don't know what they think. But that's how I'd look at it. I'd just be like, well, I can't do anything. Like, even if you wanted to think, oh, someone's going to come in and take my position and I want to leave, you can't do that till January anyway.
Yeah. No, that makes
so you've got a month to really. You've got a month, 2-3 weeks to work.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, because Andre's got a year left on his contract, hasn't he? I'm sure he's got a year left.
Yeah. Till I think next summer.
Is it next summer? One of my listeners messaged me and they were like, "Is Andre going to sign a new contract?"
2021.
So signed the ting.
Yeah, just signed the ting.
As far as I know, but there's not been. I don't think they've discussed no, but not to say that they won't. But I just think they've just focused on the games. Even him, I don't think he'd just focusing on the games. It's just that even that it's a distraction. It's just to sort of he wants 3 points.
Yeah.
Today, it's about the points right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, speaking of which, obviously we've got Swansea tomorrow, and let's talk football. Since obviously Wayne Rooney's taken over as interim manager, he's sort of sorted things out at the back. We're not really conceding many goals, but we're not scoring. What Ryan, what do you think he needs to do to change to get us scoring? Is it a choice of personnel? Is it potential change of formation? Because obviously he said he's just stripping everything back to basics, and currently back to basics is making us defensively sound, but attacking wise, we're not good enough.
Yeah. I think one of the most encouraging things is they are creating like genuinely quality chances. They're just not sticking them away. And I think some of that is confidence. When I think Derby scored like 8-9 goals this season. When you haven't scored that many goals, like that goal scoring touch and the way you finish goals, or the way you finish chances, can become just a little bit more of a test for you. A confident team, a confident striker. It's one touch, it's in the net, or you're able to pick your spot. The Colin Kazim-Richards chance against Stoke. He rounds the keeper. It's a really good clearance from Chester, but you wonder, can you slide that in under the goalkeeper without having to take it round him and stuff like that? I don't think he should change the shape, because that was part of what led to Philip, having to leave the club by mutual agreement, was that the changes in shape were too often, and it caused confusion. I think what I like about this Derby team right now is when the team sheet rolls out, you know what the formation is. And now generally you know what to expect from the team. It's going to be work it out wide quickly, get bodies in the box and get crosses in. Is that swashbuckling football? No. But is it effective? Yeah, it's proven pretty effective so far. So I think there needs to be a little bit more time. Now, obviously, Derby's situation necessitates a bit more urgency because of where they are in the table. But like there are positive signs there. But the Stoke one for me was a little bit disappointing, if I'll be honest, because I thought that Stoke team were there for the taking. I thought Derby should have won that game and put them away.
Yeah, no, I agree. They looked poor. They didn't look like any sort of threat. Even in the second half, when they had the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, they still didn't look like... I don't think David Marshall made a save, did he?
No, I can't really remember him being tested, to be honest. As you say, like Stoke came out and dominated the first 10 minutes of the second half, but it was always that stuff like that was always going to happen. It reminded me of like the Blackburn game just before lockdown, when Derby were brilliant for the first half. And you thought, well, naturally there's going to be a reaction, because there's no way the opposition are going to be that bad again in the second half.
Yeah.
So those kind of things happen. But Derby had their chances to essentially make sure that they were in control of that game before Stoke ever started to really rally. Coventry as well, they had chances to win that game before Coventry got that late equaliser.
Yeah. Do you think we were lucky against like the likes of Brentford, who sort of battered us for 90 minutes? And I think, in fairness, Andre put a big tackling on Ivan Toney, didn't he, when we went down to 10 men when Conor McDonald was off the pitch? Were we lucky there, would you say, or would you say, no, we did a decent job on them?
No, I don't think. I think that was a point well earned. In Brentford had two chances. Josh De Silva skies one over, and so does I can't remember who the other player is. And Mbumu, he skies one as well. Now, but in luck in football you create your own luck. Derby didn't really, let Marshall get exposed too often. I think that was the first time in Thomas Frank's reign that Brentford didn't have a shot on target. And Derby, like the high line that Brentford played was ludicrous. And if Derby could have just had a better way to pass, they could have had some joy of their own. But no, I don't think they were lucky against Brentford at all. I thought that was a really well earned point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Dash, do you feel like Derby are going to get some goals soon? Do you think? What do you think we could do better?
I just think like it's like what Ryan touched upon. I just think it's urgency. I think a bit more urgency, more chances will come. We're creating chances, just about putting the ball in the net. But I like what Kazim-Richards doing up top. Is busy, so, and he's pressing the back line. So I think it'll come. It's just about when it comes, really.
Yeah, he's an interesting one, Kazim-Richards. Ryan did a brilliant article on him today. Came out. and he's just has this persona and aura about him that seems to bring everyone together. And it's not just, obviously, he's not had the greatest striking record, but against Coventry, just before they got their equaliser, he showed like the determination to win the ball back, nutmeg someone, and lay it on a plate for Stretton, who unfortunately stuck it over the bar. You're thinking that would have been game, set, and match there. And yeah, I mean, it makes you question how come it's taken him so long to get on the field, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just, I think it's just fitness as well, and it's just like new environments. I think, like I said, with Andre going away, and I think because he's not played that sort of championship, not to say that he's not played at championship level, but he needs to just get to grips with. You've seen how he's come in. He's linked with everything. He's vocal. He's a team player. It just shows, like, even with his previous clubs, he's been in many changing rooms, whether it's been abroad or in England or wherever he's been. So it shows that he can walk into a change room and no matter what your background is, he can mix well.
Yeah.
So I think even though he might not have been on the pitch, it's clear to see he might have been vocal off it.
Well, Ryan, I mean, I don't know. I've lost count of how many times you've reported what Colin's doing, even when he's been subbed.
I think the key thing here is I always, particularly when there's no fans in, the idea is you want to try and bring them inside the stadium as much as possible. You want to try and be as descriptive. So I always try and pick out things that, to me, I think, I've not seen that before. That's interesting. I ain't seen that before. And the first game that Colin started, I noticed that he was loud, really, really loud. And then before long, everyone was loud. Before long, David Marshall shouting at everyone. Andre's organising the line and how high he wants the line. Christian is telling Lee Buchanan to go on his run down the left, and Christian will drop in. And that you only report that if it's notable, which means before that wasn't happening. And yeah, he's a loud, vocal guy. And the situation that Derby find themselves in, you need people like that. You need to be able to motivate your teammates on the field. And, you need to keep that intensity up, keep that energy up. As Dash said, it's about urgency. And if there's a break, if a team's trying to kill momentum or there's an injury in a breaking play, you need someone to be like, no, we can't let it drop. We can't let it drop. Let's keep being intense. And I think that's what he's brought. As you said, his scoring record across his career isn't great, but it does say something about him as a player that he's played for, Celtic, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Corinthians, massive club in Brazil. Like, these aren't like National League clubs. He's played for big clubs.
And everyone seemed to love him. Fans seem to love him, whichever team he goes to. He just, like I said, he's just got that sort of persona. I mean, you listen to his interviews and he talks, he doesn't talk like he's been trained to talk to the media.
Yeah. That's good for us as well, because media training is very stringent, understandably so, because clubs always want to control what's being said and the narrative. But when you get someone that talks to you like a human being, and isn't the same old lines, that's always it's refreshing for fans to hear. It's refreshing for the media, because it's like, well, we can work with that. At least you never get a sense that you're trying to BS us. We always get a sense that when you get someone like that, you are being genuinely honest. Andre did one a couple of weeks ago after a bad loss, where he said, training's always great, but sometimes it's like we forget how to play football, and like some people lose their mind over it. And when that's not a great thing maybe to say in the situation, but at least he's honest. He's honest.
I was going to say, Dash, I mean, and I noticed Andre's been doing more sort of talks after post-game, pre-game, things like that. Is that something he's sort of volunteered to do, or is it just sort of said, well, you're one of the senior players, can you go chat to him? Does he mind doing it?
It's just like scheduled in, but sometimes you can just do it, really. It just depends. Like, you could be scheduled in, but if someone's had a stormer in that game and scored 2 or 3, they're going to do the press run out there.
Yeah.
Like, it just depends on the dynamics of the situation and the game.
Does he enjoy doing them, or?
I won't say anyone enjoys it. Like, after a win, you'll enjoy it, won't you? Because you won. But if you lose or draw, then it's like, it's a press run, isn't it? But
yeah,
I think if you win, you enjoy it. But if you don't win, then on either side, you're not going to be like, let me go do that.
You got to go speak
Let me
to
go
Ryan.
talk to these fools after we've just been walloped 4-0.
But it has to be done, innit? It's a part of the game, and it has to be factored in. There's winners and losers, or you draw when you both have a bad press.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Ryan after a 4-0 loss, it's just going to.
Yeah, if it was, I'd be surprised, but like you got to do it, haven't you? So
I think players see it more of as a chore than anything else. You know, they're obligated to do it. If it was up to a lot of players, they'd just bounce and go home. And I think I just on a human level kind of get that.
Yeah. If you lose at anything, you could be flipping a coin. If I say let's flip a coin now for £1 and you lose to me and you're an idiot.
Yeah. No, because I get that. I get that on the other side of it, because like sometimes, you know, as a journalist, and I kind of sit there and be like, my man doesn't want to talk to me. You know, the team has just played badly and lost. My guy doesn't want to sit and talk to me about it.
That's what I mean. Imagine you're sat with your idol who you want to report on or you want to get an interview on, and you go and it's just like minimal.
Yeah, it's not good vibes.
I've done everything I wanted to do, but he's just you know what I mean? And then you leave and you think, mate, that wasn't even worth it, or I wouldn't even have done that. It's like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's boss, effectively.
So spoke about Colin Kazan-Richards, another person who we've not seen yet, who is starting to, well, he finally got another start for us, is Jordan Ibe.
Yeah.
Again, fitness, but he seems to be in a better place than he was. I remember his first interview, he sort of just felt, it almost as if felt like, I'm here. Obviously, we know he's struggled with his mental health, but, you know, he's been playing he's been getting on the bench now for the first team, and he obviously got a 5-minute cameo at the weekend. But then he's played again last night got 45 minutes from the 23, scored a penalty. You know, I think he was unlucky not to set. I think it was Hector Ingram up in the second half. Are we glad he's back?
Yeah, good player from what I know, but it's one of those ones. It's like a mystery box, isn't it? Because we haven't seen him in so long. It's like no one knows what we're gonna sort of get. But for what I know, good player, good person, works hard, good on the ball, runs in between the line, good strike, can take free kicks. He's a very, very good player. But it's just about taking time, getting him to the level that Derby need him and getting him to play. So I think maybe if I was like looking at it just from a perspective of me, he'll be playing around at first team level around February, I'd say.
What, starting wise, or because he's on the bench now? So
he'll be putting on like minutes on the board, like valuable minutes.
Yeah, because I just felt like with obviously Kazan-Richards, obviously he'd not played in a while. He was only getting like 10, 15 minutes here. And then he eventually started, and he was like, wow, okay, where's this guy come from? And I think a lot of it, as a fan point of view, it's sort of like, are we doing the same thing with Jordan Ibe? Are we not going to see him for ages? Are we just going to give him 5-10 minutes here until he actually does something in that 5-10 minutes, which makes us go, right, you can start. You know what I mean? So obviously, he's had a fitness issue, hasn't he? Obviously not played for about 28 months. He's not played for.
Yeah, since September last year.
I wouldn't say a fitness issue. I just think it's just he hasn't played for that long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's anyone. It's like not Tyson Fury, but like when he had to take so long to come back after taking so long off, you have to. It takes time, you know what I mean. You're human. Everybody's body's different. It takes a lot. A lot of people just think because you've got the ability, you can go out there and do something, but we don't know how his body feels, how it feels after playing for it. You don't know all that. Not to say that there is problems there, but you don't know. And it's after a year. If I do anything after a year, I'm going to be a bit rusty at it or a bit robotic at it. And there's certain things what I need to in football. It has to happen like that, like your first touch, bringing the ball down, heading. When it matters, it matters.
Did you ever get a chance to play football like sort of standard? Yeah, you.
Hey, don't know about me. I was great.
You were great.
No, I was good, yeah, but I only got it to like a certain level. I was only allowed to play football when I got into like year 6, however old that was. But I was good.
Young. How come Andre made it? Is it because I'm going to bring this up? Actually, we're having this conversation. So basically, then Andre got the talent and you got the hair.
No, literally. Like, if I didn't like football, my brothers wouldn't have liked football.
If you didn't like it, so you were a big influence on him. Is that what you're saying?
My brothers wouldn't have liked. Yeah, like, I would just like. I got into football when I was, I'd say about 6 or 7. Yeah, that's like playing football. But like knowing about football, like on a level or like an adult, I know about 10. Like I could literally sit down with an adult and have a full-blown conversation about football from like 1994 to like whatever age I was.
So Dash bringing out his tactics board.
You're there with an iPad on.
Literally. And that's because like my older brother used to have championship manager, like I think it was like 99. And then I was like 9 and I used to literally just watch him play this game to the point where he used to go to sleep. I used to remember what he put in on the password. And when he used to go to sleep, I used to wake up on the night and literally go play the game until like 7 in the morning.
You're an OG, you man. Champman 99. You're an OG. The old 2D graphic stuff.
I like 9, and I could literally tell you like Cherno Samba. I could tell you like the players. Peter Crouch was young then. I could literally like even now I can tell you the players, and that like helped me through life because like anyone will tell you that knows me. Like my memory is my biggest thing. And literally, that's because of that. I used to have to sit there and remember all the players I used to look at. I used to literally remember the names and type it in on it. Not even knowing like the player's name, not even being able to pronounce it. But I used to be able to literally scout these players from that.
Did you ever want to go into like football in another capacity? Because did you used to rep Andre at one point as well?
At the start, literally, until it was 22, it was just literally me and him doing whatever we wanted, sort of thing. Not whatever we wanted, but we're just taking it as it came. And then, not to say that you get out of your depth, it was like we put in with Stella. They was around anyway for a while, and then we put in with Stella. But it's literally from then, any like football decision, not to say that it comes by me, but it naturally comes by me anyway. He won't do anything. If I said no to anything, he wouldn't do it because he knows how much I'm invested in football.
So you got the brains of football then?
It's just I've been like, I'm 30 now and I've been doing it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And
Look at you with that full head of hair at 30, you know. That makes me sick.
It's shocking, mate. I'm 33 and it's gone. You can polish this up. Ryan, how old are you?
I'm 28, bro.
Dude, you're going to end up like me.
30.
30, full head of hair. He looks younger than both of us.
I ain't a fan of that, man. I think it's interesting what Dash raises actually on Jordan Ibe, that he is a bit of a mystery box. You know, I think a lot of fans are basing what you're going to get with him in 2020 off what they got with him in 2015.
Yeah,
and that's not the same anymore. You know, he isn't the same player, and he might not be the same person just because of what he's been through in his personal life. You know, people change, but also like that Derby team isn't the same anymore, and the division isn't the same anymore. So you don't know what you're going to get. I think what you're banking on is as Dash said, is his talent, his obvious talent, and he's still only 24. You forget that because when he came into the Liverpool team, you know, he was seen as the heir apparent to Raheem Sterling. That's how highly rated he was, that, you know, he could slot in and basically be like Raheem was. But it is exciting. And I know fans are frustrated that he's not getting, you know, he's only getting on the bench here, or he's playing 45 minutes in the under-23s. He's getting 5 minutes against Stoke. But as Dash said, everyone's body is different. Everyone requires different conditioning. It was interesting after the Stoke game that while the subs all did their warm-up as a group, Jordan was doing his separately with another fitness trainer. So it's obvious there that there are still sort of gaps to bridge in terms of where he's at physically and where the rest of the team are at physically. But look, he's getting on the bench and he got 5 minutes. All right, it's frustrating, but it's still a positive step in the right direction. You've got to take them small wins.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he came in full of confidence, said you're going to see the same player that we had back in 2015, but better. So I think we're all just excited to see him, because I think when he left, he did leave a big hole. Ultimately, it was filled by Tom Ince. Was he as good? Was he better? It was a tough call, and I think I think a lot of people. I mean, I know quite a few people that blame Liverpool wanting Jordan Ibe back on why Derby didn't get promoted in that 2014-15 season.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was. I think there was numerous factors, the big one being the Newcastle. But yeah, Jordan Ibe leaving then was definitely part of that. But I think we got a good replacement with Tom Ince. And look at Tom Ince now. He's struggling to get into. Who's it now?
Stoke. He came off the bench for Stoke. Tom's an interesting player because, again, just tremendously gifted footballer. And had moments in the Premier League where you thought, yeah, he's got the talent, but it just never quite seemed to happen for him. But there's no denying the level of talent he possesses, and sometimes you wonder whether it's an issue of how much time you get on the ball in one league compared to another league. Those half a seconds matter when you step up, and your brain has to click in just a little bit quicker. But yeah, I think Tom, I would say it's a shame, but like he's still having a perfectly good football career, and football is a rare commodity. But I think you look at and think how exciting he was as a kid, and you just wonder what might have been had all the things dropped into place for Tom.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, speaking of Toms, we seem to have these players called Toms, and they always get a lot of stick. So Tom Lawrence, someone asked me this last week. Could his time be numbered? His days be numbered at Derby under Rooney?
I don't know.
Because he's finally been dropped, if you like, from the starting lineup.
I mean, he came back in for Stoke, and I thought was very, very good for half an hour before he picked up an ankle injury. Tom's problem is not a new one; it's consistency.
Yeah.
Tom will have 6 games where he frustrates the life out of you and does nothing, and then he'll go on a run of 6 games where he's playing a hand in having the match winner every game. That's what Tom Lawrence is, and the argument always is if he could just be more consistent, what a player he would be. But the counter to that is if he could be more consistent, he might be at a higher level. This is a kid that was at Manchester United and Leicester. Tom, I think, maybe at this stage in his career, and this isn't to say you can't find that consistency where you see guys like Jamie Vardy develop different levels late on. But right now, this is who Tom is. He's going to have his ups, he's going to have his downs. But I don't think his days at Derby are numbered unless Ibe comes in and can really dislodge him. Because he's one of Derby's better players.
And you've set me up brilliantly, because that was going to be my next question. If when Jordan Ibe gets fit, in fact, both of you, I'll ask this to both of you. If when and Jordan Ibe gets fit, do you play Ibe and Jozwiak on the wings, or is it Ibe? Is it Jozwiak? Because at the moment you would assume that Jozwiak is one of the first names on the starting lineup on the team sheet. Same with Christian Bielik, same with David Marshall, and the same with Jason Knight. I think all the other positions are potential for grabs. Obviously, the centre-back pairing, you're going to have now Clark and Andre. Taveric doesn't seem like he's in the picture. Not quite sure what's happened to him. You've then got Buchanan and Forsyth fighting it out for left-back. Burns obviously going to be your right-back. I think the rest of the position, so that extra midfielder, then the 2 widemen, and I think obviously, TKR as well, he'll be starting. Them 3 positions are really what's up for grabs at the minute. So that begs the question: if and when Jordan Ibe's fit, who would be your starting lineup?
I'll let Dash take this one first.
I don't know. For me, I think it's just going to be one of those things. Like all the best teams that I know have interchange, apart from probably Liverpool, and apart from Liverpool, have interchanging wingers or forwards, as you call them. So it'll just be a form thing.
Yeah.
So I can't really say who will definitely start in my 11 because it'll always change. I think it'll literally be who's done what last week, maybe.
So it's healthy competition for places, isn't it? And you want that.
Yeah, like that's how it's gonna have to be. Unfortunately for them, but that's how it is, and it's competitive, and that's what you really want as a player to push you to that next level. Because if you're just playing week in week out with no one pushing you, then you only can get so good. But if you've got pushing you on the pitch and people push you in training, then you're going to be better, aren't you? So it's healthy. You never should be scared of competition.
I think that's what Rooney's almost trying to instill in the team. You know, when he was he did one of his pre-game presses, and he basically said it's a clean slate for everyone. All 11 positions on that pitch are up for grabs, and you've got to come and earn them. You know, we saw Dwayne get in and get a couple of starts, and then the last couple of games he went off the boil, and suddenly he was dropped. You know, Martin Waghorn had a couple, and then he was off the boil. Suddenly he was dropped, and Colin comes in. So it's you. But if you can't. If you as a professional, you can't get yourself up for the challenge to want to be back in the 11, you know, that can't be a good environment for pros to be in, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, if you look at it, yeah, this right now, look at when my brother's been at Derby, you can count 2013 till now. This is the only period, because Curtis Davis is injured, where you can say he doesn't have a rival for a position.
Yeah, that's true. Because I've got to say, he was battling it out with Curtis. I think Andre started, then Curtis came in, then gone out, then Curtis back in again. So it was trying to find that centre back part. And now, obviously, Curtis is. Have they said how long he's going to be out for? I know he's got this is Achilles, isn't it?
I'm not too sure. I think it's Achilles, but I'm not too sure what's sort of happened. Yeah. I think I just read that, so I don't know.
I think that's something they're going to try and announce in and around the Swansea game, which is that's tomorrow now. So they'll announce a decision on that pretty shortly. But Rooney had said he feared it was long term. I think the prevailing feeling is it is long term. Now, whether that means it's season ending or not, we don't know. And I imagine using the term long term leaves the door open for him to maybe come back in like April time if it is that serious.
Yeah.
Be a shame for it to see his because that would be his Derby career over as us. If that's him done for the season, that's him out of his contract into the end of the season.
Yeah, he's a free agent once.
That's a massive blow because I'm guilty of it. I think a lot of people wrote him off because of his age, but he seems to constantly come back into the side and deliver and be that calm, assuring centre back that the defence needs.
But that's what I mean about when I say form is that suits him. See, with Curtis, he probably knows himself, or probably knew himself that he can't play 40 whatever games. So you think about it, if every 4 to 5 weeks he gets wrote off for about 3 weeks and comes back in and plays 2 to 3 games, he's gonna have blinders.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And he's had 2 prior Achilles injuries as well, so you know the body's got to stay fresh.
You perfectly managed him by being negative and saying that he's not worth playing. So whether it's, I'm not saying that this happens to the managers, or whether it's peer pressure and they think, all right, I'm going to have to bench him because I've heard whatever, or there's opinions here, whatever. But when he does come back in for 2 or 3 games, you've got him at 100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. So speaking of managers, Rooney then. One of my listeners, Mark Coots, asked this: do we just bite the bullet now and give Rooney the job, or has he done enough to earn the job, or do we still look and go elsewhere, look for an experienced manager or a different manager, or is Rooney sort of doing enough to say, no, hang about, I'm here, just let me have the job?
I think the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be to take the job away from him, because he keeps on picking up positive results, you know, and he's managed to get a little bit of momentum going. And the longer that happens, look, if they pick up 4 points over the next couple of games against Swansea and Rotherham, that strengthens his case even more. Because again, if that is the case, they'll have remained unbeaten under him as well, and then that would make like 7 unbeaten. And it's then becomes really difficult for anyone to say, well, we can't give it you after the counter is, well, what do you mean you can't give me? I'm unbeaten. We're unbeaten in 5, 6, 7, whatever it may be. So I think whether he is the guy or not, he's quickly making himself the guy just by being in the position just by getting positive results, and you can see marked changes that he's making. But look, a decision has to be made soon. Like, just if you're going to roll the dice and go with him, you've got to commit and roll the dice and just go with him. Don't leave the whole club in limbo. If you commit to Wayne, it means that you can commit to whatever you want to do in January in terms of loans or whatever it might be. So that time's coming up soon as well. So a decision's got to be made pretty shortly on that.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think? Has he done enough, Dash?
Well, I think it's not a case if he's done enough. I think as a business thing, what the club are waiting for is for the takeover to be done. And then I think following that, you're getting into like which direction they want to really go in. Because effectively, like, none of us know. We just know that there's a takeover going to happen, but we don't know what really comes with it. Is there going to be a manager change? Is McLaren going to be there? Is it going to be gone? No one really knows anything, really. It's like we're all living on a rolling contract right now.
Does that include the players as well?
I don't think for the players, because their job's the easiest. You're doing what you love. So it's like they're just there to play. Not to say they're just there to play football, but you're doing everything like you should be doing anyway. Your worry is sort of on the pitch. It's not thinking about what's happening upstairs, because essentially you're a Derby player.
Yeah.
Or you should just be playing for Derby, and it doesn't matter who takes over, because you're still a Derby player. So anyway, change for you, I really think you should be thinking about that. You shouldn't be thinking, well, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, because it's not happening right now, is it?
No, yeah, exactly. Has Rooney surprised you with how well he's managed?
Not really. He's been playing since 16, so if he don't know football, then who's going to know? You know what I mean? Like, and he's played at level, so it'd be hard for me to say that is. Obviously, it can go bad because, like, Gary Neville wasn't a good manager, people will say, but I think it's with most managers, who have played for like 20 odd years, they're gonna know a fair bit.
Yeah.
Well, they might not be able to do it long term, but they're gonna be able to see you through to a certain extent.
What I'll ask you, see if you can see if Andre said anything to you, but what sort of manager is he? Is he one of them that's like a bit of an Alex Ferguson, who's not scared to raise his voice, or is he sort of like sort of a more of a calm approach, like I suppose Koku was?
I don't really know, but I think for what I've noticed or from what I've like been told is it speaks to you a lot. So it means that he's vocal enough and he's opinionated enough to tell you whatever it is. I don't know what he says, but saying something, you know what I mean? So he's very vocal with like individuals or groups. So it's a sort of togetherness that is, as you can see, building. That's the main thing, because I think even like I said to my brother when they were losing and whatnot, I said the worst thing you can do, which like kind of made me happy with like Dwayne Holmes when I seen him do the celebration of him playing computer, because the worst thing you can do when stuff's going bad is just not be yourself. Because if you imagine you're doing anything you're doing, like even yourselves tomorrow, if you think, oh, well, I can't do that because so-and-so said this, or I'm not going to do that because so-and-so did this, and then you're sort of waking up the next day and then you're putting on an act and you're not being yourself. So everything you do natural is now coming second nature as the first nature.
Yeah, I don't blame Dwayne for celebrating like that, because he had so much stick on social media because his performances were below par or suboptimal, as Ryan likes to use. I like that word, Ryan. So, and everyone's saying, oh, well, you're too busy playing video games. And then he scores a brilliant goal like he did in a little cute back heel. And give the fans it back, because at the end of the day, the fans have given you shit.
Yeah.
I think it's all right to give it a little bit back. It wasn't exactly excessive. It wasn't over the top. We all know that Dwayne likes to play, Warzone, etc., on the PlayStation or FIFA or whatever it is. We all know that. And I thought it was out of order that fans, just because, you can't do that because you're bottom of the league. It doesn't matter. It's like when Tom Lawrence used to shush us when we scored, wag on, fingers in his ears. We gave the players stick. The players put themselves out on social media, and some of them do interact. The likes of Holmes does interact. Wagon used to interact. Yeah, because we're going through a lull, you know, I think sometimes fans are too quick to jump on everyone. You mentioned it earlier, and Dash, and you said that, you know, when you hate it when you see fans saying that they're not trying, because we don't know. And I think that's the key point. We don't know anything really that goes off behind closed doors.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. If anyone wants to turn up and run around for 90 minutes, have you ever tried to not run?
Not run?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, when you like used to go to school and you have to do PE, and it used to be like those, you used to have to do cross country.
Oh.
And you didn't want to run, but you had to run. Like
Yeah.
that run, and it used to be 10 times harder because you're like fake running. That's what it's like. Like, who's going to do that professionally?
I think what a lot of people forget is like footballers have a lot of time on their hands as well. Like, just because, you know, you do your, if it's double sessions, even in pre-season, you know, you still got a lot of time on your hands. You know, you do your training, you do your meetings, and that's kind of your day job done by like 2 or whatever it is in the afternoon. And at the end of the day, like, they're still people. They still have hobbies and interests. You know, if Dwayne wants to go and do streaming online, or, you know, see like Sean Barker, former player, he's doing his fashion thing now. You know, if he wanted to do that in his playing days, you know, fair enough, fair dues. You know, you see all these players now getting into other different bits because I think a lot of the time they're bored, but also like your playing career is short as well. Like, relatively speaking, like, you know, us three might work until we're in our 50s, you know, when Dash has still got a lovely head of hair. But like, playing careers are done at 35. You might get to 40 if you're lucky, but like they need stuff to do after that, and all the stuff they're doing in the interim might be leading towards that. So you don't know, and they still have a right to enjoy themselves, even if the things on the pitch aren't going well. What would, you know, do you want all the players to be back at Moor Farm midnight running around and doing laps? You know, they still need to be with their families, be with their friends, chill, do their own thing. And like Dash said, be themselves and just create a nice environment for themselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm totally with you. They're human at the end of the day. We're all human. We all have hobbies and things that we like to do, you know. So yeah, fair play to them. You know, that is it. Now I'm going to ask you one thing, Dash. You said you're going back to the gym. Who can bench more, you or Andre?
I'm the strongest guy.
Don't lie. Don't even lie.
I'm not even lying. I said this to Dwayne the other day. I literally said I'll beat everybody's stats at Derby apart from running.
Apart from running?
Because I don't run. If I ran for 2 months, I could probably keep up. I swear to God.
Right, and you're a free agent right now, isn't it? They get you in the building.
Literally.
Can you play up front?
Me? No, I can't play up front. I won't lie.
Does Andre go to the gym? Was he just naturally strong?
No, not like me, strong, naturally. I don't go. I go gym and that, but like, see, when I go gym, I just go back to the gym to prove that I'm still strong.
It's an ego thing with you then.
10 sessions tops.
My man turns up, puts all the plates on the thing, smashes it out, and just dashes it on the floor.
Still strong, and I've still got like a chance if anything happens.
He's waiting in the wings, isn't he?
Right, but I'm stronger. We've done everything. We've wrestled, boxed, gymmed. Like, I can like put Andre down with a body shot.
Hold on, that's a tough pass.
Send this to Andre. He's calling you out.
He is. I'm telling you now. You've got to see this. But do you reckon you could put Akinfenwa down because Andre did? Andre put the beast Akinfenwa down.
I think it's more of, see, with football with Andre, like when it's showed, I know his trick, so I'm not going to expose it, but I know what he does.
Stands on his toes.
I just know what he does. So me and him know that I know what he does. Not to say that he can't do it, but I know what he does as well to give him a further advantage. I know what he does. But I don't know if I could do that, but I think if you put us in the ring, I'd box around him easy.
You got that quickness going on, innit?
Anything like that, because I'm quicker than him. I won't knock him out, but I'll beat him.
How have we got to this discussion now? We've come through football to Dashelle and Akinfenwa having a fight.
Yo, we could hook that up. You see how Floyd's boxing
Literally.
YouTube man now. We could set this up.
Yeah,
Like
let's do it.
literally, I could show you messages. Like I literally message like area champions, like amateur area champions from like Yorkshire, and I'll just go to the gym and spar.
Right, that's it. We need to get this sorted. We need to get the Beast versus Dashelle, definitely.
I just like challenging, like and like physical combat. That's what it's just it's an alright thing. Like I know loads of MMA fighters and stuff like that. So I go to the gym and literally hit pads, and people tell me like you should box.
But you don't. It's like I
No.
like my face too much.
Push my line back and that. I'm not.
That's what happened to me, you know. That's why my hair went. I got punched in the face too much, and the hairline went all the way back.
Go to the gym, like I'll try go like next week or something and go on pads, and I'll literally post the video.
Oh, you've done yourself now. That's it. We're all waiting for that now.
You'll be like, mate, fight AJ.
Fight AJ. Oh,
he's telling AJ to come outside. You know.
we've had that Jake Paul guy calling out Conor McGregor. We've now got Dashelle calling out AJ.
No, I know my levels, but just like your average man, like fighting me, it's not going down well for him. But like if you train, I'm not gonna fight you if you train, but I can like amateur boxing level, I can hang. Like my weight and everything, I can hang. Like anything from like 18 stone down, I can hang around with.
Oh, sound. I'm all right then. You can't touch me. I'm over 18 stone. It's fine.
I put my money on myself. Heavier, I could probably do, but you'd have to give me good odds.
I can't fight though. I can wrestle, but I can't fight. So I can't box. I spent years doing jiu-jitsu. Then I spent years playing rugby. So wrestling, I'm fine at, but boxing, I'm not very good at that. But you've been in the ring, Ryan. You don't actually look. You look. No offense. You look like you enjoy your looks too much to get in a boxing ring.
No, you are 100% correct.
Yeah, but see me, it's like I don't do it often. I'm just one of those guys who I wake up one day and I'll be like, all right, I want to spar him, and then I'll go spar. Like no training, no like 2 days I was running ago. Like yesterday I wasn't running. Like, but tomorrow I'll go and I'll give you like 3-4 rounds.
You're like the most relaxed human I think I've ever talked to.
I know.
Yeah. Everything about you is just so chilled out.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
You don't really get first. You just sort of keep it cool.
What's Christmas like around the Wisdom household? Because obviously he plays Boxing Day, doesn't he? So how do you sort of like celebrating Christmas Eve? Or?
He don't really. Yeah. He sort of eats football really. Not saying that I don't have a Christmas, but it's normally around football, isn't it? So
yeah.
You don't really have the Christmas everyone else has.
I always wonder what they do. Do they just sort of like? Because you said, didn't you, Ryan? You're an early to bed sort of guy on Christmas Day. Now I've got to go box. I've got football to report on Boxing Day.
Yeah. So I always wonder like what football or Christmas is a kind of like, as well as that, because I imagine like what's the gift giving thing like? I always wonder, because obviously financially with football, you always think, well, I don't want to get too much and make them feel bad for me spending this much money, and I know it's not about a monetary thing, but I always wonder like how footballers gift as well. What's the worst gift that Andre's ever given you, Dash? Like not in a, like you love it, but you open like a cheese grater or just a brick or something like that.
I don't really know though. Can't say I've had a bad gift.
It's a good gift giver. Andre Wisdom is a good gift giver. That's breaking. That's front page athletic. That is, Ryan.
Smashed it.
The worst gift I've ever had was a diary.
A diary.
Yeah, I was about 7.
Did you write in it every day?
Yeah.
No, like what am I gonna even like do with this?
He's writing his champ manager tactics in it.
I wasn't even on that level yet. I was like, okay, you've given me a leather diary, yeah? It's dated this year, so like, what do you expect to happen to me in this year?
A 7-year-old Dash arranging his appointments in his leather diary.
Yeah, got a diary. Yeah,
School.
diary and a pen or something. Got like a pen or something.
Pen. Ryan, what's the worst gift you've ever
No,
received?
diary and
What's the worst gift you've ever received, Ryan?
The worst gift I ever received. I don't know, because I always feel bad. Generally,
You don't want to offend anybody, do you? That's what it is.
Yeah. And I always think, even if it's something that I always think like, oh, I didn't really want that. I always think, well, how can I use it? Now I've got it. How can I use it? So yeah, I always try and think of it like that. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what's a shit gift I've got?
I can tell you mine. Mine was a Where's Wally onesie.
That's all right.
No, I hate onesies.
That's all right.
Harry, yeah. While you're still learning to write.
Yeah, no, that
yours has purpose. Mine had no meaning being given to me.
Yeah, literally, it was a Where's Wally onesie, which I got about 4 or 5 years ago now off my mother-in-law.
That's all right.
I had to wear it as well. I was like, I'm not wearing it. I don't like it. Mrs. is like, you're wearing it. I'm like, no, I don't want to wear it.
Dash is going to go and cop one after this. Dash is going to go and get one after this. It's like, oh, Where's Wally onesie? That's all right.
He is, isn't he?
I'm a shorts guy, but
you see, so am I.
Though, if it were given to me, I'd wear it. It's not a problem.
I wore it once, and then I hid it in the loft. Oh, that's where it went. I wonder where that went. So it got worn once, but no, that was the only time I wore it was when we went camping, and it was cold at night. And I thought, my missus had brought it, she snuck it in. I was like, all right, I better wear it, and it might warm me up. And it worked, but that was it. That was the only time I ever wore it, because I just do not like onesies. So yeah, that was my worst gift, really, and that was only a few years ago.
Yeah,
things you're learning.
That's all, really. A diary.
A diary is the worst gift he's ever received. Was that from Andre? Was it or?
No, from like an auntie. Like, I don't even know. Like, what?
Oh God! Right, we'll bounce back to football quickly then. We take on Swansea tomorrow night. How do we think we're going to do? Score predictions. You first, Ryan.
I don't know.
Now let Dash go. Let Dash go.
Dash has started.
Tough game, I think. Tough game. We've got loads of options. Hard team to break down. So I'd take a draw, me.
Well, that's what we're getting in a minute. So you might get your wish.
I'd agree with that. I think a draw against Swansea wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like, obviously, you want to try and get some wins, but Swansea are a really good team. It's like the draw at Brentford was a really good point. Draw against Swansea would be a good point. Yeah. They're a good team. They're well coached, and I think in someone in IU, they've got a real match winner. If he's on, he'll be a problem if he's on. But yeah, I don't think Derby should be scared of Swansea. I think at times we saw last year that they can be a little bit soft at times. You know, you can get at them and rattle them. And you know, I think Derby's changing style, being more direct, might ruffle the feathers a little bit. I think they'll draw, but I wouldn't be shocked if they got out of there with a 1-0 win, just because I think of the way that they would be able to disrupt Swansea with how physical they are.
We're putting a goal in. We're putting a goal. We're going for one goal.
A goal.
A solitary goal. We do need to get some goals. Hopefully we can address the striker issues in January, and this takeover is done by next week. The Rams, obviously, the Derby County did say that the statement today saying that they're hoping to be done by Christmas. So fingers crossed. But anyway, guys, let's end it there. I feel we could end up chatting all night otherwise. Ryan and Dash, thank you both for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Definitely have to do it again sometime, no doubt. And
yeah, no worries, man. Pleasure as always, Simon, bro.
Thank you very much. And thank you guys for listening as always. As it's Christmas time, I don't know if I'm going to get another one in before Christmas. I might do, I might not. But if not, hope everyone has a great Christmas and stays safe. And until next time, I shall see you then. Come on, Derby.